But there's also this element that Hamas doesn't give a shit about the Palestinian citizens, right? The civilians, I mean. And, if they did, they wouldn't conduct their operations. Their methodology would be different, right? They wouldn't bury themselves in their operations and their command centers and everything that they do, right? Their depots, their missile weapons supply centers within the public environment, right? They just wouldn't, right?
Well, they probably never expected this.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's no way they would have done October 7th if they expected this response.
Well, there's no way that the Iranian regime, I think, would have allowed them to do this if they anticipated they would get this sort of response. So I think you're right. But and again, this is the problem. People only hear what they want to hear, right? So they hear me say from an operational perspective, I understand that they had an aggressive response. But then they stop listening, right? So what I'm saying is, was it over the top? Well, yes, it was over the top. And could they have been more surgical about this? Well, yes, they certainly could have. Could they have prevented some loss of civilian life? Well, yes. Would that have been difficult? Well, yes. Why? Because Hamas puts themselves in the center of civilian life there. They know this is what's going to happen. This is their currency. Dead Palestinians, that drives their narrative. And they always know it's going to turn against the Israelis as we're having these discussions. That's what happens. And they've got enough of a track record to know that's what's going to happen. So they use it to their advantage. But, again, it doesn't excuse the killing. I keep coming back to that same thing. You can have, disparate multiple, thoughts in your head at the same time, right? You can feel bad about that. And at the same time, you can go, yeah, it was fucked up what they did on 7 October.